What's up, guys? Continuing on with our rookie mini-series, today we are working on Jerry Jeudy. He was picked in the first round, 15th overall by the Denver Broncos. Going through his couple of his college stats, he was at Alabama for 3 years. Freshman year, he only played 8 games. He had 14 receptions for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sophomore year was one of his better years as far as yardage and touchdowns. He had 68 receptions, 1,315 yards, 14 touchdowns. And then in his junior year, he had 77 receptions, so he went up in receptions, but then he went down in yardage and touchdowns, 1,163 yards, 10 touchdowns. He was also battling with Henry Ruggs for targets, and that Alabama offense was just spreading the ball all over the place. So he was worthy of a first-round pick. He was taken in the middle of the first round by the Denver Broncos. Jordan's going to take it away, and then I'll get back to you guys.
Yeah, so I think before the draft we saw a lot of mocks who had Jerry Jeudy going to the Broncos. I think it's a really nice landing spot in real life. It gives Drew Lock a ton of targets and Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. They took KJ Hamler later in the draft, Noah Fant, who really came on at the end of the season. They already had Phillip Lindsay, who has 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons under his belt. Signed Melvin Gordon, so the Broncos just have weapons all over the field now. So that's my biggest concern for Jerry Jeudy, both short and long term, because they have a lot of young options. So when we talk about a guy like CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup is young, but it looks like he may be on the way out. I mean, a lot of these, or even when we talk about T. Higgins, A.J. Green might be on his way out in Cincinnati. With the Broncos, all of their targets their weapons are really young. I mean, Noah Fant was a rookie. Cortland Sutton's only in his 3rd or 4th year now. I mean, these are really young options, so I think they're going to have to spread the ball around. So, volume is king in fantasy, and I've always said that specifically for wide receivers. So I'm a little concerned with his volume long term, but I just think he's too talented to not be one of the first few picks in dynasty rookie drafts. So I still think he's going to get his targets just because he and Cortland Sutton should really form an alpha A and alpha B combination. So I think it's still a good landing spot. He can develop with Drew Lock. And overall, one thing I want to mention too, I think the overall theme of this draft is really fantasy disappointment. I think we were expecting a lot of these big-name wide receivers and running backs to go to great situations, and now we're kind of left picking up the pieces and trying to figure it out at this point. And I think Jerry Jeudy landed in a better spot than most, but I think he's going to struggle in the beginning to get targets. But based on his talent alone, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, and I think going into the draft, and you already mentioned that it was kind of shocking, kind of disappointing on where some of the players landed. But we were kind of thinking that Denver was going to be taking a wide receiver. We just didn't think it was going to be Jerry Jeudy. We thought Jerry Jeudy was going to be gone before he even got to Denver. But Denver, I'm going to say a steal. They got a steal here. He should have gone at 11 or 12. He ended up making it to 15, so Denver didn't have to trade out of the spot to get him. He's got one of the best feet out of the wide receivers in this draft. He's one of the better route runners from this draft. So Cortland Sutton could be your stretch the field guy. Jerry Jeudy's going to be your over the middle guy, kind of like that Chad Johnson or that Stevie Johnson. Those guys that are Keenan Allen now, those guys that are just they can just make things happen with just the route running. That's the kind of player that he is. We just did our CeeDee Lamb miniseries episode, the last episode, and I'm going to say some of the same things. I mean, he's going to go there. He's going to be one of the better younger wide receivers. He's been going in rookie mock drafts and actual rookie drafts that we've done around like the 6th, 7th, 8th pick, which is a perfect spot for him. That's where CeeDee Lamb is going. And if you can't get any of those top stud running backs that are coming out of this draft in your rookie mock draft, then Jerry Jeudy's a nice complementary piece there, a nice piece to take and build your team around. And like Jordan said, I mean, they have a lot of the younger weapons there as opposed to Dallas when we did talk about CeeDee Lamb. But he's going to fit right in. Deshaun Hamilton is pretty much a nobody now. I don't know how KJ Hamler is going to fit into there. We'll be doing him a little bit later on in the series, but he's going to get his targets, and he's going to be fantasy relevant, I think, from day one.